Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Major Step Podcast here on WSVC Radio, where each week we take a closer look into one of the departments here at St. Vincent College. My name is Andrew. I'm joined once again by my co-host, Colt Easterling. Colt, let's talk about the marketing department this week.
Let's do it. We're going to have on Dr. Kate, who's an assistant professor here in the marketing department at St. Vincent, and junior marketing major, Jaden Bailey.
I want to clarify before we get into the interviews, these were recorded about a week and a half apart. So some of the things that are referenced, we talk about the Super Bowl and Dr. Kate's interview that happened obviously a
while ago,
a good bit ago from when this episode is going to come out. But most of the substance I think is still the same.
Yes.
I'm definitely excited. I did consider becoming a marketing major here. I ended up not, but I actually again ended up thinking about picking up a minor. You have a minor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
In marketing, yeah.
Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah. We did.
So
talk
I
about
have
that, Dr. Kate.
the experience with the marketing field. For the marketing minor, you don't take nearly as many classes, but it's still enough to get grounded knowledge on a field that you may be interested in. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And Jaden talked about this in our interview, but this department gets really good reviews from the students. I think the professors are very well liked.
100%.
Students go on to do pretty good things. They all seem to do well with their internships. I see all over LinkedIn that some marketing students accepted some kind of internship with somebody. So they're doing something right in the department for sure. Seems like a lot of the classes are engaging. And the students enjoy doing the big projects that they have to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of hands-on work in the marketing field, and one of the kind of things that Dr. Klein and Dr. Kate they really push is that once you're done with the class, you're gonna have something to walk away with and show a company. So when I took advertising and promotion with Dr. Kate, we built an entire marketing plan for a company. So billboard advertisements, video advertisements, we have stats, surveys, all this kind of stuff. And then in principles with Dr. Klein, we did a similar thing where we kind of ran a report for a couple weeks, and we marketed it, got stats back, changed our marketing analytics, just things like that. So there's some good stuff you can walk away with once you're done with the class.
It doesn't really get much more real world than that.
Yeah, 100%.
So if you don't have any other thoughts before we get into it, Colt, let's get into the interviews.
No, let's do it.
Now we're joined by junior marketing student Jaden Bailey. Jaden, thanks so much for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you guys.
So first question we'll ask with students is, what made you decide to be a marketing major here? Did you decide before school, or did you come in undecided and decide here? So two-part question, sorry.
Yeah, so I always knew I wanted to be business, but I have two older sisters, and they went through the college process before me, so I kind of took some notes on what they did. And my oldest sister, she does marketing for Sony, one of their music labels. And so one day, I visited her in the summer, and I was able to see what she did, and I don't know, the marketing stuff, I really fell in love with it. It's a good mix of creativity and still being in the business world. So I felt like it was a good spot for me.
That's cool that you got to see some real life, what your life could be like.
Yeah.
Post graduation. That's a cool way to decide.
Yeah, 100%. You mentioned before we recorded that you have a finance minor. So how does your finance minor kind of help you in your marketing studies, and maybe vice versa?
Yeah. So the one thing that I learned just in marketing it's really data driven. So there's a lot of numbers involved, and then a lot of that is really budgeting too. And I just felt like finance in general was just good to know, how to manage your money, how to handle a business's money. So yeah, they go hand in hand pretty well, I think. I'm still new to the finance world a little bit, so I'm still learning how they intertwine, but they do overlap a good bit.
So onto the classes now for marketing, Jaden. What's a typical class like? Is it a professor lecturing? Is it more seminars? A little bit of both? How do you guys run a class?
Yeah. So I think first, professors, they like to start with a nice foundational knowledge of just whatever marketing objectives that they're trying to teach. And then after we get a good sense of, like what companies are trying to do or different concepts. Then we start looking at different promotions. So maybe we might watch television advertisements and commercials. We might watch YouTube ads. We'll see how they promote on different websites, TikTok, and then just kind of like mix what we learned concept-wise to see like how it's actually applied in the real world, and even things that like we interact with for my ads. We even look at like how my advertisement might be different than what you get on yours and what Colt gets on his. So yeah,
and much more. A little bit more hands-on, I think we've heard with some of the other business stuff. Most of the people we've talked to, it's mostly lectures, but you guys seem to actually kind of get into marketing and pick apart some of that stuff.
It makes class more interesting.
Yeah, it keeps you engaged for sure.
Have some real-world interaction.
Yeah, that probably makes it a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Have you been involved in any like internships or anything your time here at St. Vincent?
Yeah. So summer of 2023, I interned under the director of marketing for a health clinic. So it was different because I never really like the whole pharmaceutical or like the health industry. That was never anything that was really like interesting to me. But just seeing how they go about their advertisements and their marketing is a lot different than how, for example, like a retail company would do theirs or a tech company would do theirs. So just learning how the different strategies, how some of them are the same across the board, but also how they differ. It was a good experience.
Yeah, I bet I think any kind of pharmaceutical ad is probably one of like the most watched ads. Optics. I'm sure there's lots of little things in those kind of ads that matter. The type of people that they're showing when they have that weird voiceover, like, do you have blah blah blah? All that disaster. I saw that. Did you accept something for this summer too? I saw on LinkedIn that you are doing. Was that you? For this summer. All right, where are you going to be this summer?
So last year I got into the SAP program. So I've been doing a lot of stuff for that, and then part of the program, at the end, you have a whole bunch of interviews for internships. I'll be interning with a company called NTT Data. So they're IT.
Okay.
But I'll still be working under the marketing stuff. So again, it'll be different from the health clinic, and then now I'll get to see more of what marketing looks like in the technical world.
We haven't had anybody talk about the SAP program yet. Could you go into just a little bit about how that is? That program's definitely growing a little bit here, and we have yet to discuss it. So just some of the basics, like how was that process for you?
Yeah, so basically what SAP is, it's ERP software, and ERP, it just deals with everything on how to run a business. So your accounting information, your inventory, your all your HR information, it's basically everything just brought together in one. That way you don't really have to have, some files on paper here, some things on the computer over there. It just makes everything a lot easier to just see your business. So that's a generation of what SAP is.
I remember we talked about that in MIS, which is part of the business course. So anybody who's coming in with a business degree, you will be learning about SAP.
Yeah, whether you want to or not.
Yes, that's true.
Any class with a business professor, it's going to be plugged. So
Yep.
Just know that coming in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What are some classes that you're taking right now, and then maybe you can talk about which ones you kind of enjoy more than others, professors that you enjoy having?
Yeah. So right now I have strategic marketing with Dr. Klein, and he's also my advisor. I love Dr. Klein. He's really good at he actually makes class really interesting, even on days where we don't have much to talk about. And I also have digital marketing analytics with Dr. Kate. So that's really cool. Actually, right now I've been creating my own website.
Cool.
So that's definitely something I've been tapping into. That's cool. We just learned about how to promote online websites, how to make sure that your that your website's getting traction on the internet. There's different strategies on that.
That's cool. Yeah, so you're definitely getting into the more creative aspect then of marketing, not necessarily the maybe not as much the strategy and more, how would you want to market something?
Yeah.
What's the best outcome for you post graduation? Like, if you could pick your career path at this very moment, would you end up in the music industry like your sisters, or would you've experienced something in the health sector, or maybe you end up liking IT this summer?
Yeah.
What would you pick right now?
I don't know. Originally, when I came to St. Vincent, I really wanted to get into sports marketing, being a basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. It's a really hard industry to break into. I think right now I'm aiming more towards, I like the SAP stuff. Um, One, because the companies, a lot of them, they seem to like influence the work-life balance. Some of them work remotely. A lot of them have different events that they want to fly you out to. A lot of team camaraderie. So it seems like pretty cool. And everybody that works there, for the most part, because it's technology, everybody's pretty young. So it'll be nice to, have some coworkers around my age.
Yeah, you feel like you can blend in much better.
Yeah.
And, not that any job is 100% safe, but technology's not going anywhere.
Not going
so
anywhere.
something in that sector, you feel like you could, enter on the ground floor and you can continue to build up in that career path. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You did mention you're a basketball player, so we were kind of wondering what the balance between academics and athletics like for you.
Yeah. Honestly, I think playing basketball kind of makes me stay more organized and disciplined. Because I know, like, for example, now we're out of the season, and so my day is a lot more open. So sometimes, like, I might have the tendency to, like, put stuff off. And,
I don't feel that now. Just
I have time later. But yeah. But overall, I think it's pretty good. I still feel like with basketball, I have enough time to do my studies. I have enough time to put in some extra work if I want to. And I also have time to hang out with my friends. So it's been a good experience for me.
Speaking from a non-student athlete, yeah, I'd push off way too much.
It's easy.
Yeah,
it's easy.
I had an exam today, and I was at the casino last night. I'm not taking things as seriously as I probably should have been. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, I don't have any further questions for you, Jaden. I feel like there was something I was going to ask, but it's kind of escaping my mind at the moment. Do you have any final thoughts on the marketing department that we haven't talked about? Oh, here it was. Are your professors accessible out of class? Are they willing to help you out with stuff? I know Dr. Klein's your advisor. I have him too. He seems like he's pretty accessible. But what about some of the other professors?
Yeah, Dr. Klein definitely is. And then also Dr. Kate. I had my first class with Dr. Kate last semester. It was a night class, which it was also my first night class, and I really did not want to take it, but that's just how I had to with my schedule. Yep. But she honestly made it really enjoyable. And she's really open to helping you outside of class. They're really cool, easy to talk to, explain things clearly if you need some further help. But yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about the marketing department.
Fantastic, awesome. Yeah. Very good, pretty glowing review.
Yeah, 100%. You have anything else, Andrew?
No, I'm all good.
Well, we appreciate your time here. We know you're busy, so we appreciate we could grab you for a few minutes.
Not busy anymore. He's saying, every time in the world now.
We got him at a good time.
But yeah, thank you guys.
We appreciate it.
Now we are joined by Assistant Professor in the Marketing Department, Dr. Caitlin Michael. Thanks so much for coming on.
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course. So we usually start off with all the professors. Just have them tell us a little bit about yourselves, your professional and educational background, and what led you here to St. Vincent.
So, funny enough, I am a returning Bearcat. I did my undergraduate studies here at St. Vincent, and then went on and did a couple graduate degrees and returned here. So, St. Vincent is a very special place in my heart, and it's like home.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, so what I did for education is I actually double majored here at St. Vincent in marketing and management. And then I went on and did a master's in business admin with a focus in management. So I built off that St. Vincent experience. I diversified a little bit and also did a master's in education. And then I went on for the PhD in marketing at West Virginia.
Okay. Wow. A little bit of everything.
Yeah. A little bit of everything.
That's awesome. What are some common pairings that you see within the marketing field? You see some of your majors or minors pair different things with their major of marketing. You mentioned management as one of them.
Absolutely. So management is a nice pairing with marketing. We also see occasionally like some accounting or finance, dip your toes in the marketing end a little bit, which can be really helpful for things like if you're looking for any sort of new product development and planning where you have to have a better understanding of the finances. We also see a lot of combinations in the business school with entrepreneurship and sports management as well that marketing complements. But even outside of the McKenna School, marketing is often paired with communications, with media studies, with digital media and arts, because these all can kind of work synergistically together for different roles in the marketing field.
Can you walk us through a little bit of the course track for a marketing major? You don't need to go into every single class, but generally speaking, how does the track go, and what are some electives that are offered?
Absolutely. So if you were to major in marketing, you would take the standard business core, which everybody takes. So that's things like financial accounting 1 and management introduction and management information systems. But you would start with principles of marketing. From principles of marketing, once you've learned kind of the terminology and the basics, is when you move into some of the more deeper topics where you learn about consumer behavior, how to do market research, strategic marketing. And those are your core classes that teach you really in depth how to go through making marketing decisions and analyzing your own performance. The electives are structured so you have a lot of different options based off what appeals to you. So you could do marketing planning and development, which focuses on new product designs, prototype testing, user experience. You could also do nonprofit and social marketing, which focuses on obviously nonprofit organizations, but also relates to things like public policy, public health. So you aren't limited in your direction that you go. And then we have some broad electives as well. You could do things like advertising and promotion, digital marketing analytics, things that no matter where you end up in a field could still apply and are also, in my opinion, very fun to take.
Yeah, absolutely. Take an ad and promo myself. You know that. Very fun class. Highly recommend.
Colt endorsed, everybody.
Yeah.
It's Colt endorsed class.
Can you talk a little bit about the internships that are available within the marketing field? Not just here, but just some different things that students may be interested in dipping their toes into.
Yeah, so I think it really depends, first and foremost, if you want to put yourself in kind of the creative side of marketing with the advertising, the promotion, running like the social medias, or if you're focused more in the sales realms or the forward-facing customer interactions. I think those are kind of our big divide in internships. There's a lot of sales ones that also partner nicely with our SAP Business One program. A lot of students will do that and then go into sales that route. There also is opportunities to do things, like I said, kind of on the other creative side of it, where it's a wider industry base. So you could do an internship for a bank with PNC. You could also do an internship with the Pittsburgh Penguins or the Steelers, right? So we have a lot of variation on that side. And even within the creative, it doesn't necessarily have to be writing the social media post. It could be designing the graphics. It could be doing research on, customer opinions, perceptions. So there's a lot of options out there that you got to get to specialize and pick which part makes you happy.
Yeah, definitely good amount of variation there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fairly obvious that the technologies and social media aspect of marketing has kind of taken the area by storm a little bit. How do you guys as professors deal with that in terms of trying to teach the students about what is, quote, popular now in marketing and preparing them for the inevitable changes that are going to happen 5, 10, 20 years from now? So
I like to say that I am really, really blessed because my career demands that I spend hours scrolling on TikTok. Like, it's a requirement for me, to keep up with the trends.
Sure.
So I take that very seriously, but we also apply that to class. So a really cool example is right now in digital marketing analytics, the text that we use for that isn't a standard printed textbook. It is a book that is updated digitally online multiple times a year, anytime major trends emerge. So if you were going somewhere else and took their digital marketing class, you might open a textbook and it's talking about how Facebook is the be-all end-all. We know Facebook is important, but we also have a lot of focus on Snapchat. Snapchat has the youngest consumer base. So being aware of these constant changes, it means we're regularly updating our course material. We're thinking about how we can strategically market ourselves in these different areas. And then we're also seeing ways that we can incorporate new technology to make our lives easier. So I am a big proponent of using AI, right? It's not going to go away. I don't think ChatGPT is the worst thing to happen to college education. It's a tool. How do we use it? How is it going to impact marketing real time? And we know online, if you use ChatGPT and other generative AI models to write text for your products, you have an issue where you could run into being penalized because that content's going to be repeated multiple times across the internet. So it's knowing when can the tool help us and when do we got to use our brains too.
Yeah. Do you think that the one class that you mentioned about the text being updated, do you think that model that you guys use, does that prepare students better upon graduation? I think the answer is slightly obvious to that. But do you think that employers notice that as well, that they're more ready?
Absolutely. And I think it's not just, the text that we use, because, I can tell you the principal's text might not be updated every year, and that's intentional because the definition for marketing doesn't change, right? But there's other things we use in combination with those texts. I especially use a lot of simulations and certifications. So you're coming out with the most up-to-date skills that the industry is looking for through these sort of certifications.
Got you. Okay. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Could you talk a little bit about your personal teaching mantra? I know before we started recording, you talked a little bit about how you like to structure your classes so students can present something ready and something good for a job they may have. I know you're good at getting students engaged. You're always buying food, things like that. Just like the small things. It's great.
Sometimes we all need a snack to get us in the zone, 100%. And I am not opposed to bringing in lunch. So my personal philosophy is that if all I was having you do was read a book, we wouldn't need to hang out, right? So we spend a lot of our time in class. We'll talk about the theories, we'll learn the theories, but I care about application. Can you turn this into something real, something meaningful? So any course that we teach in the marketing department has some sort of project attached that is portfolio ready, that you can include on your resume, you could use at a job review and say, hey, I know how to do new product development and prototype testing. I've gone through the research, the design, the different stages. Or, hey, I know all the aspects that go into a promotional plan. I have practice writing a press release. I have practice designing a direct mail campaign, right? So everything that I do is with the ultimate goal of you coming out saying, I am marketable myself.
And what are some of the most popular and maybe some of the most interesting jobs that you've found that students go into after graduation? Either people that you graduated with here, students that you've taught, people that you've met in your graduate courses.
So I think it depends what you want to do and what interests you. So I find it super cool and super exciting when my friends have gone on to popular local companies and things like that. So I have friends who work for Dick's Sporting Goods. There are connections to St. Vincent at Duolingo, right? Love their social media right now. There is a lot of options out there. If you're not someone who's interested in the corporate world, I have people who are in market research firms. That's what they love, is the data analysis, and that's super cool. The sports are always a big one, right? We love hearing that you are working for a big sports team. But all these options are out there, made possible by our St. Vincent connections and by the education you get here.
Yeah. What did you think of the Super Bowl ads this year? Any thoughts?
Listen, I'm not saying it was my favorite year for ads. I was swayed. The Budweiser had a pony. Okay, yeah. We love a pony instead of a full horse. So that was a selling point for me.
I like the Pringles one was good.
Yes,
Pringles
that was funny.
Mustaches.
Very entertaining. And theirs and Budweiser's worked because here we are talking about it in that small college podcast.
It worked.
Yeah, yes, it did. So my final question is on Colt. Do you have anything you want to add before I ask this? So is there anything that we did not touch on? Is there anything that you would want some perspective, students to know about this department?
I think the biggest thing is that we are here to support you, even if you don't decide to be a marketing major. Even if you don't even minor in marketing, but you say, hey, I want to take a class here or there. Because at the end of the day, we're all consumers. Marketing affects all of us. So even just taking like a principles of marketing class for the college core, or taking maybe an advertising and promotion class because that's something that interests you, can be worthwhile since we are consumers, right? We watch the Super Bowl commercials. So can we take that class then and think about like, oh, what technique were they using to persuade me or to get me to remember the flying mustache, right?
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Very cool. Thanks for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very, very much.
So much.
Another big thank you to both Jaden and Dr. Kate for coming on our podcast here, and we really appreciate their time. They're both very busy, but we're glad we could steal them away for a few minutes, talk about the marketing department. Another very good episode, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jaden got into some good details too about the internships that he's working on and the opportunities that the department has given him. I think, not that that's the most important thing when you come to school, but that's the end goal for everybody, I think. Yeah. So to hear that students are given really good opportunities and prepared for those opportunities, I think that's a sign of a good department, if you ask me.
Absolutely. And he did mention the accessibility of the professors. I know Dr. Kate, she brings in food for classes. Sometimes when they have exams coming up in her classes, she'll do like professors and pizza, where she'll meet in the Aurelius lobby and have students come and eat and chat and study for the test and ask any questions they need. And Dr. Klein, I know he doesn't do something similar to that, but like he's always very accessible. He'll take you to his office after class. I know he gave me a couple of the vintage SVC golf uniforms just because why not? He's a nice guy, and he knows I play golf. So I don't know, just very, very good professors here in the marketing department. Very personable.
I would definitely agree. I have Dr. Klein right now for statistics, and he's definitely one of the most accessible people that I've had. He'll meet with you day or night. He'll make sure that you're getting through whatever you got to get through, and you do have to take statistics for marketing as well. Mm-hmm. So I'm not totally unfamiliar with classes in the department.
I'm sure he mixes it in. Too.
Absolutely. So that's going to do it for this episode of the Major Step podcast. We hope to see you next week.
Hey there, listeners. I'm Matt Boyer, station manager of WSVC Radio. If you like what you're listening to, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button to be notified with all of our updates. Every day, one of our shows will be releasing a new episode. Stick around and tune in.